Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another Obi-Wan episode. Oh, dear God. It's an interesting episode. Not really. It's getting worse, I think. I think the writing's getting worse. Ewan's still great. Ewan's still doing good. Reva hasn't gone the direction I thought she was going to go. I mean, there's still a chance that she might, but yeah, it's safe to say I think she was used too much in this episode. I'm starting to dislike her character a lot. So yeah, this is off of obviously the last episode, Obi-Wan getting basically burnt alive like Anakin did, and it's pretty much more of the same stuff. It's basically another episode of trying to find Leia. Once again, she's now gone somewhere else, so we're chasing after her again. Although, considering she can outrun mercenaries, I'm sure she can get herself out of this situation. It's a pretty poor episode, this one, for me. There's a bit of action, not much. Writing is terrible. It's I've got some points to go through, so if you haven't seen it, I don't know whether any of this is going to spoil it for you. Probably there might be some bits here that might spoil it for you, but I'm just going to go into it because I'm kind of sick to death of terrible writing. So I did make some notes. Okay. Synopsis of it is obviously Kenobi is recovering. He does that pretty quickly. He starts regaining his force abilities, as I just said just now. We head after Leia again. We get to see what kind of looks like the remnants of some rebel or some rebellion, the Alliance, or whatever you want to call them. So we get to see like a small remnants of that, and that's kind of where it starts going a bit. The beginning of it's quite good. I quite like the back to tank thing. I know we see a lot of back to tank at the moment in Star Wars, but hey, he's got to use it. So I quite enjoyed the start where we get the sort of flashes between Anakin or Darth Vader in the back to tank and Obi-Wan in the back to tank. That's pretty cool. I like that. And him kind of having memories. Chill out. Him kind of having memories of him being burnt alive and things like that. I really enjoyed that. That was probably the best bit of it. And then it goes downhill from here. So we head off with Tala. Tala takes Obi-Wan to this rebel, I'm assuming it's a rebel base, and he gets out of the back tank within seconds. Pretty much recovered, and he just wants to head out and basically get Leia. I mean, that is his mission after all. But we meet this guy who he's so trodden down by the Empire. He doesn't want anyone giving away what they're doing and their position. They call it the path, I think it was they called it. And he's so adamant that he's not going to help. He doesn't want Obi-Wan there because he's going to alert the Empire to their position. And then he gives this little sob story about his wife. He says, I know all too well what the Empire can do. He gives this little quick sob story about his wife, and then just like that, he's changed his mind. I'll help you out. It's such poor writing. Such poor writing. So that's the start of the downhill trend for this episode for me. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here. That was the first bit. So from here we go to where Leia is being held captive by Reva, and to get in, Obi-Wan has to swim to sort of like an entrance or an exit port underneath the water in the ocean. And the thing is here, they like. So Tala gets on. Tala gets onto the base, and what happens here is the same cliche crap that happens in pretty much all TV shows and all movies. Okay. She's got these officer credentials. She thinks she can get in there. Why on earth can an officer who's based on a completely different planet have credentials that can get them into a high security base like this. It doesn't make sense. So she goes through the hangar into a security checkpoint. It's the only security checkpoint to get you into the base. This is the only way in and out other than Obi-Wan swimming in, okay? This is it. This is how you get in formally. There's a security guy there who's proper stern, okay? He approaches her. He questions her about her credentials. You shouldn't be here. You come from another planet. I can't let you in. She gives him the usual, I'm your commanding officer. All right? I've got some top secret knowledge that I've got to get in there. And he just becomes this whimpering idiot, like a buffoon. And yeah, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, sir. It's just crap. It's crap. And I'll get back to this bit in a minute, because it comes full circle later on. So she heads in. She goes into this little control room to open up a port underwater for Obi-Wan to swim into. She just sits down at this desk, you know. You'd think it a bit weird if you were working in an environment where you're sat at a desk at a computer, say like telephone communications, something like that, insurance. You've got Mike's computer station next to you, but Mike doesn't sit down at the computer. Someone completely different does. You'd go, excuse me, that's Mike's station. Who are you? But that doesn't happen. She just sits down, gets on with what she's trying to do. And the weird thing is she's opening up this port underwater for everyone to swim into, and she says, it should be directly in front of you. How does she know? How does she know that this port she's opening is directly in front of Obi-Wan right at that instant? It makes no sense. All she's got to communicate with him is a little handheld communicator. That's it. That is it. If she's detecting him on a screen right in front of her, then everyone else, he should be detected, shouldn't he? He should be everyone else should be detecting him. It's just crazy. Not to mention the fact that she's like, yeah, so I'm just opening up the hatch for you. It's right ahead of you. Meanwhile, there's a guy sat shoulder to shoulder basically with her, who's not hearing this to start with. Then he does hear it, and he turns and looks at her like he's just like looking at her like this for a couple of seconds, and you think he's heard her. They've done it. He's actually heard her. She's talking freaking loud. He's heard her. No, he didn't. But some officer comes in and says, "Oh, this isn't your station." So yeah, you're right. Mike isn't there. This isn't your station. And he drags her away to talk to her about something. Literally in the same room. Literally in the same room, just behind what looks like a server. And she effectively disables him with no sound, because no one hears anything. If you're having a ruckus with someone in the same room, right, you can't be quiet about it. Someone's going to make noise. I don't care what you do, you've got to deal with their hands and their mouth to stop them from talking. Alright, it's not going to happen. So someone would have heard that. That's another problem for me. Yeah, and then she sits back down, and the guy that was kind of staring at her still does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, whilst this is happening, whilst she's disabling this guy, this officer, right, she leaves the communicator on, I might add, just left on the desk. And this guy, who's not Mike, he's just fucking oblivious to the chatter that Obi-Wan's giving. He's just, I don't get it. You'd be like, what's that? What? Who's this guy on this mic? It's just sat on the desk next to him. It's just unbelievable. So that happens. What else have we got here? Oh god, yeah, Leia. Okay, so I kind of was enjoying Leia for a bit. Now she's just getting a bit bratty and proper annoying. Not only that, I think they should have reshot this scene with Leia and Reva. So Reva explains to Leia that Obi-Wan is dead. She also goes into detail saying he was burnt to death. So that's kind of traumatic for any child. Not only that, she says nobody's coming for you. So a child has just learnt that the guy who's meant to be saving her has been burnt alive. He's now dead. And there's physically no one is coming for her. The realization would set off some sort of emotion, but there's nothing. She's just, I know she's a kid, but there are child actors out there that really are really absolutely phenomenal and can cry on cue, and there's no emotion from Leia whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, that was a bit meh. I think that should have been reshot. We're not even halfway through my nitpicks. Okay, so that was another issue. Talking about the microphone that Tala was using to talk to Obi-Wan with. Now, obviously, Obi-Wan's roaming the halls trying to dodge all the troopers and all the droids, because you'll notice in the hangar bay that literally everyone that works on this base is in the hangar bay. No one is walking about the halls apart from 2 stormtroopers and a few droids, right? And although this guy sat next to Tala couldn't hear what was going on this microphone or what she was saying, right? 2 stormtroopers with helmets walk past Obi-Wan, who's hiding, right? And they're talking to each other, and they hear Tala on his communicator. I don't get it. How did they hear him? They're wearing helmets, for fuck's sake. And the guy who's literally sat next to Tala can't hear this communicator. It makes no sense. It's so dumb. So that was terrible as well. This is all out of order because it was what I was remembering stuff as I was watching. I was like, oh yeah, so it's all out of order. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, so, Tala as well. Tala literally takes out. She's telling Reva all about this, the path, and she knows where they are and all this. She's trying to deter Reva and give her a full story. Reva sees through it, which is good, which I quite like. Thankfully, she didn't believe it. You know how it is with these shows. They like to go, "Oh, really? Yeah," and it's just convenience and shit. But Reva doesn't believe it. This goes on for a bit too long, knowing what Reva's personality is and how she is with people she can't tolerate. I'm surprised that they left this conversation going on so long. So yeah, she's basically lying to Reva. Reva works it out and pretty much arrests her. Reva disappears, obviously, because why not? They've just spotted Obi-Wan. And Tala is left with 2 stormtroopers. And she gets away by face, like... She literally, shrugs loose and uses the palm of her hand to plant it into the stormtrooper's helmet, just in the face. It does nothing. It just like this. Oh, I've got a hand in my face. It's like this. Just pushes this guy away. Meanwhile, I know stormtroopers suck with shooting, but he's got a blaster. The one next to her has got a blaster. He does nothing. He waits a second or two, probably more than that actually, for her to then face palm him as well. It's like, it's so stupid. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I've seen some dumb shit in my time. So that sucked ass. I can't get over the stormtroopers hearing this microphone from Obi-Wan. They can't even shoot, for fuck's sake, but they can hear a microphone with helmets on, and yeah, whatever. Oh, and there is a little fight scene with Obi-Wan, which is kind of cool. However, he does get a little pointless spin in. If you just keep your eye out for it, there is a pointless spin. He does his old pulls a lightsaber out, does the spin twirl. There's no need for it. It adds nothing to the fight. Literally adds nothing to the fight. If anything, it actually opens yourself up for attack. Stop it. It's dumb. It looks stupid. Just. I think at this point they're just adding these pointless spins in just for the fans to wind them up. Maybe Easter eggs, callbacks to Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. Trash. Anyway, so that happened. Right, we are halfway through. We're getting there, guys. So yeah, at this point, Obi-Wan's been found. Okay, it's been alerted that so a droid picks him up, locates where he is, sends out a signal, tells everyone that he's there. Obi-Wan's been found. Tala has been, detained at this point, but she hasn't. So you'd think Obi-Wan's picture and, who he is would have been shared out to security and everyone on the base. Well, turns out, obviously it didn't. Because you remember that security checkpoint at the start that Tala walks through and she has trouble getting past, okay? The one point of entry into this building, okay? They gloss over them walking back out that way to get to the hangar so they can escape. They gloss over it. We don't even see it. So that security checkpoint is still there. How does Obi-Wan and Tala, who we now know have been alerted of their presence, they all know, and this is the security, right? They should know at this point. How did they get through that checkpoint? How the fudge did they get through that checkpoint? I can tell you how. It was deleted from the script. That's how. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And then obviously we get into the hangar again, where literally every trooper, every soldier, every Imperial employee is just walking about aimlessly. They're all crossing paths. They're not doing anything, and it's so freaking obvious. Like they do it really well in certain films and TV when you've got a crowd that are moving around, but it's the same people constantly. They're just walking in a straight line across Obi-Wan, Leia, and Tala. They're just doing this. It's 3 stormtroopers come this way, 3 stormtroopers come this way, some officers come this way, some more officers come this way. It's the same shit. Where are they going? The base is technically on lockdown because Obi-Wan's here, and none of them are going to find him. I don't get it. There's nothing in the hangar other than TIE fighters, of which none of them are getting into just in case anyone turns up with a ship. It's just so shit. It's awful. Yeah, so Reva's not there at this point. We get a shot of Reva with like an army of troopers behind her. No idea where she got them, because she would have had to go to the hangar to get them all. Are they just stored in a room somewhere? Guys, come with me. Oh, thank God. It's just crazy. Because she's casually walking through corridors. They know Obi-Wan's there. He's causing havoc. He's slicing up troopers in a corridor. But she's just casually walking down the corridor to him. Like, this is the guy that I'm trying to impress Vader with. Should really get a move on, but I can't be arsed. Yeah, it'd be alright. He ain't gonna escape. There's nowhere for him to go. Yeah, it's fine. It's just ridiculous. That's why I've written this down, because there's so much shit in it that I had to write it down. Leia's under a trench coat. That's a thing. And for some reason, I don't think it was Leia that opened up the trench coat to look out. I think Obi-Wan did it. I'm pretty sure it was just for the camera, so you can clearly see she's under there. All right, but just for the camera, they had Obi-Wan open up the trench coat as they're walking through a hangar full of every single stormtrooper and Imperial officer. Just opens up the trench coat. Leia's here, guys. She's here. He covers it back up again. It's stupid. So stupid. How big was the guy that he took that trench coat off of? It's freaking massive. Anyway, that's the security bit I'm reading now. That's still that's going to pee me off forever. That is. That's almost like, was it the last episode or the episode before where Obi-Wan shoots that security barrier instead of just walking around it? Fuck's sake. Oh, right, okay. So, we're in this hangar. It's full of troopers, full of Imperial officers. No one spots them, even though they're on high alert. They know who they're looking for, right? Even in this day and age, right now, in this time period, we have things called you know, messaging apps, WhatsApp, you'd think they'd have sent out some sort of information post showing a picture of Obi-Wan. Just anything. And Tala, you know, these guys are at large. We need to get them. Nothing. All these millions of troopers and that, just completely ignore them. However, Reva turns up. She comes from the security section, the security depot. Okay. Walks into the hangar, immediately sees them when they've got their back. How? Their backs are turned to Reva. Can't see who they are. And Reva just points them out a mile away. And then all the troopers and that, and the Imperial officers, they're just like, they just stop what they're doing and like, what, they're there? It's so shit. So shit. Oh God. It's just horrible. And then I want to say it gets worse, but I don't think it can get worse. Obviously, conveniently, at that moment in time, some speeders turn up to save the day. Some speeders turn up to save the day. At this point, still no TIE fighters in the sky to defend the place. That's literally everyone's taken a day off. They're having a fucking picnic in this goddamn hangar. Yeah, two speeders turn up. It's the two people from the beginning of the episode, Wade, and I can't remember who the other character was. Don't really care about them. There's this little moment where Wade dies and they try to make us care. Don't care. They show up, they blast the crap out of every trooper, and there's probably about 150, 200 officers and troopers in this hangar, and they blast the crap out of all of them. Still no one gets a shot off at Leia, Obi-Wan, or Tala. And the dumbest thing, these two speeders fly into the hangar, okay? When you watch this episode, just look at the size of the hangar. It's not that big, right? As these speeders fly in, there's this weird this weird perspective change, and as they get closer to the back of the hangar kind of gets further, the back of the hangar gets further and further away, as if to open it up more. There's literally nowhere for them, the way the speed they're flying through this hangar, there's no way they turn round, but they do. Right? And it gets even better. Not only do they turn around, still no TIE fighters are out at this point. None of them are getting into these TIE fighters. But Reva's defending cannon blasts with her saber from these speeders, and this speeder literally stops. It's like this far away from her, blasting her, and she's defending it with her saber. And we get like a side-on shot, and they look like they're right next to each other. The speeder looks so freaking tiny, and the CGI is so poor. It's just awful. Yeah, and then they end up escaping. Obi-Wan, Leia, Tala escape, and then the rest of the Inquisitors come in. They're still bitching about Reva and how it's it's her doing this. She's doomed. Vader's gonna kill her. There's no comeuppance for Reva whatsoever, because she's gonna survive. They get away. She forgets she's got force abilities. She manages to throw a box at one of the speeders and blows Wade up. Why she didn't do that in the first place, I have no idea. She's literally defending this. I don't get it. Use the force, smash it up. She doesn't do it, not until the very end. But they get away, and surprisingly enough, no TIE fighters follow. Nothing follows at all. No one goes after them. So yeah, it's pretty garbage. And then we get the wrath of Vader. Now this bit was kind of cool, because Vader looked proper impressive as he was stomping through the corridor to get to Reva, and he just fucking chokes her, drags her up into the fucking air, starts giving her some jip about failing him yet again. Downside to this is Vader has killed people for less, and she should be dead now for cocking up everything. But she mentions that she put a tracker in Leia's little droid, and that the ship is being tracked, and wherever she goes, Obi-Wan will be there. So he has this little throwaway line of, it seems I underestimated you. No, you didn't. You didn't underestimate her, mate. You didn't. Alright? She fucked up. You've just lost a ton of troopers and officers because of a complete dumbassery. Yeah. Horrible episode, guys. I'm gonna give this this is a 3, easy. Yeah, it's just garbage. Fingers crossed for the next ones. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. 3 out of 10 on this one. It's the worst yet so far. I'm going to continue watching it just purely because Ewan McGregor, I love him. So thank you very much. Let me think what you thought of the episode. Did you have the same pet peeves as me? Give this video a like. I'd love you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because then you'll be notified when a video goes live. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to go kill myself because that episode sucked. See you later.